Okay, welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. This is a little bit on YouTube. I did Wimborne last night, the Tivoli Theatre. Fantastic. I was really good in the first half, and the second half I got all hot and sweaty and a bit unnecessary, and I was trying too hard to put new material together in my head, and that never works. You should have stayed with what's tried and tested and just alter it around a bit and ad-lib a little bit. But it was fantastic. And then and Tash came down with me. She's here now hiding because she hasn't got a trace of makeup on. In fact, a couple of pedestrians have just passed out as we drove past. But we went for a lovely Nepalese, wasn't it, meal last night, which was fantastic, and they let us in quite late. And then we went. I said, you're going to love this pub we're going to stay, called the King's Head. It's right near the theatre. It's very handy for it. And I've stayed there loads and loads of times. It's a great bar, great staff. And we got there last night about 11. There was a group of people in there having drinks. So we ordered our drinks. It took a while to get it through, which was served up in toothpaste holder glasses by two girls. They must have been 18, 19 years of age. I don't need to say any more, do I? And then, so we got the drinks, and I said, can we put them to our room, please? No. Pardon? You can't sign for anything. Why? Because in case you run off. What? I said, surely we can get, and I said, can we have some ice? Oh. And so off she went, came back with some ice, and a little man who let me in early on, and he said, no, we don't allowed to sign for anything. Oh, I said, okay, I'll pay by card then. And so I paid by card, and then at about 2 minutes to 11, right, last orders, we were the only ones in there now. Last orders, which probably explains a lot. I said, what do you mean last orders? We're staying here. Yeah, but we're only licensed till 11. So you're not a hotel? Yeah, we are. Well then, I'm a resident, surely I could have a drink. And I was getting a bit shitty and getting frowned at by Tash, but the injustice of it all. So I said, okay, then we'll have another, we'll double up. So we had two more drinks in the glasses, and then we sat there, and they started cleaning the floor. I said, are we in the way? Yeah, can you go and sit somewhere else? So we went and sat somewhere else. Then we went up to the bedroom, got up this morning, and I said to the woman, what's happened to behind the counter? There was a woman that looked like she haunts houses for a living. And she said, what's happened? And here's a clip of the hotel. You can have a look at this while I'm voicing this over. And that was it. Well, no, we don't allow signing, whatever. I don't know what's happened. You know when you have a memory of somewhere that's really good and vibrant and good fun? And I was looking at it because, as I say, I'm going to do Dick Whittington at the Tivoli Theatre, which is next door. So I want rooms for about 16 people. And but no, it's gone. It has fallen to pieces, and it is such a shame. And then, so the woman this morning serving the breakfast said, oh no, it's all funny, isn't it? I said, what's up? Was the room not good? I said, the room's fine. And it's good enough. But I said, I'm afraid it's the staff. Oh, we have got some young ones. I said, just the attitude is awful. Really, really awful. Treated if we weren't supposed to be there. And breakfast, well, I think Stevie Wonder cooked it. So, not going there again. So, be advised. It's called the King's Head. It used to be lovely. Nothing lasts forever, does it? I got an email from Chris regarding Chris Parry today. Chris Parry is an old pal of mine from the Navy. He's an admiral. And I'll tell you more about him on Ustream proper if you go on it later on today. But so I emailed, I saw it on Facebook. They say that Chris Parry is about to become the Reform Mayor candidate for Hampshire. I thought, what a great choice. So I emailed my pal, Lee Anderson, and said, what a fantastic choice for mayor at the local elections of Chris Parry, a war hero and a great man. I seriously, I'll tell you about it on Ustream. And I got an email back from Lee Anderson saying, Lee Anderson is the chief whip of the Reform Party, and he said, yes, a great man indeed, but Starmer has cancelled the elections. Does that Keir Starmer and all them idiots, including David fucking Bowling Ball Lammy, do they sit in the tea rooms thinking, how can we really piss everybody off. We'll piss everybody off to and then they'll all riot and they'll show their true colours. The right-wing thuggery of this country is staggering. That's what he'll say. Now, I'm hanging on to the Conservative Party by the skin of my teeth. But as Lee said, the Conservative Party I fell in love with doesn't exist anymore. And I support reform. And I support the Conservatives, but Kemi Badenoch, now she's come off the subs bench or whatever it is. She started to be born again good. And she don't like Starmer. Starmer got a bollocking from Lindsay Hoyle because at the beginning of Prime Minister's question time, you should just go straight into it. Today I had meetings in the House and I shall continue this afternoon with my duties as whatever. But no, he went on and said about baby's milk and how they're going to do it and love it and how it's going to be all better and the children will be all better off. This is another fucking bullshit thing to get everyone, you know, oh, isn't he lovely? To throw Kemi Badenoch, you know, a curved ball before she did her first question. Well, she was brilliant. I thought she was absolutely brilliant. She looks happy, she looks vibrant. I wish she'd do her hair a bit better, but she looked on top of her game yesterday, and I think it pulled the Conservatives back a couple of points. It has to pull the Conservatives back a couple of points. Now, let me just tell you as well about Nigel Farage. He is not a racist. People call me a racist, and do you know what I say? I'm becoming a racist. I am becoming a racist because it's been thrown down my throat all the time, and the left are not happy till they make all of us fucking racists. But Nigel, no, he's a better man than me. He does his own stuff. And those people that accused him of being anti-Semitic and whatever, and at school, well, one works for the BBC, another one's a Labour Party activist. It's all fucking bollocks. Shame on you. Shame on you. And Nigel, it just proves that you were right. The closer to the target you get, the more flack comes up at you. Just plod on. We need to find a way of getting this country back. And I need to find a way of getting this car to the studios to record my wonderful Ustream thing. Now, tonight, I'm at the Concord Club in Eastleigh, which is a great club. It's a proper cabaret club like the old days. Then Friday, I'm going to Hastings.
Ramsgate.
What? Ramsgate, that's it. Well, it's sold out, Ramsgate. Most of the tour is sold out, all this Christmas tour, sold out. There's 1 or 2 seats left. The slow one is Salisbury. So I called my agent and said, why is Salisbury not selling well? He said, well, you haven't been there for ages. This is your first time back when the lefties have lifted the ban. So I'm back there on the 11th of December, 2 days before my birthday. On the 12th, I'm down in Babbacombe, and there's about a dozen seats left. So phone up and get them. And I'm looking forward to that because I've got a meeting with Lucy Clark. I knew her father-in-law, you know, funny old Johnny Clark. You know him from Essex. And she is going to be the choreographer and the cat, a real sexy cat in this new Dick Whittington. And that will be opening and closing in 1 week at the Tivoli Theatre in Wimborne, and we will not be staying at that fucking awful pub. And that's what it is, a pub, the King's Head. There, I've said it now. See you later, folks. One of the great accolades in one's show business career was the knock on the door by Eamon Andrews with the big red book. I thought, this is your life. Let's have a look at this today. Yeah, so they stick you in a car and off you go. And you really don't have a clue who's coming. Oh, this is really choking me up, this.